Hey, welcome to everybody to Friday Night at the Crib. It's open mic. The link's in the chat on the right-hand side if you're viewing this live. And feel free to join us. We'll talk about the raid. We'll talk about secure base, or I'm sure at some point, and any other changes in the game. But I think we'll concentrate on the raid because it seems that some people are getting the countermeasures right on certain things because there's a lack of communication as far as, at least the way I see it, the way the countermeasures are working in the raid. And we'll go on from there. But let me go ahead and introduce everybody from left to right on your YouTube screen. Toxic.
G'day everyone, how are we?
Oh, just Danny and Magic Mike.
Hi.
There we go. Whoops. And then Kevin just dropped. Right.
Oh, sorry about that. Hello, everybody.
Okay. Grimace.
What's up, y'all?
Oh, we're doing fine, I think. Dr. Death.
Hello, everyone.
And Daniel.
Hi, everyone.
And this is Hefe. And again, anybody that would like to join, the link's on the right-hand side, because we've seen some changes in the raid. People incorporating stuff that is a raid prize, the Dark Wing. I would like to hear from anybody that's equipped any of the reinforcements, because they're sort of baffling how well they'll work. Because they, we talked about there's one for corrosive and there's one for penetrative damage, and they have a lower defense resistance, but they've added in plus 100 ship and structure deflection. So how they work out requires a player to know what the initial salvo damage and the initial damage that each salvo is coming from our PvE targets. And with the death of data mining and all that, we don't know those numbers, so there's no smart way to try and figure out if this is a good thing to put on your ship. So I guess we're left at the trial and error thing again with that. So if anybody's on that's equipped those, love to hear from you. And I'm sure a couple people have equipped a few of the Dark Wings, and we can talk about that as well. But anybody, how's your raid going? Anything you want to talk about?
I put the Darkwing on one of my Manticores, and it dropped my damage by about 45 minutes on auto in the 106.
Okay.
Consistently. It's like, it varies per target because you're always getting a little variation in how much damage you're getting, but it's around 45 minutes, give or take.
Okay.
And I think I saw, he's not here, I guess, but I saw George posted a video, and I think his dropped by like an hour and 20 minutes, but he put 3 of them on.
Yeah, because it seems, you can have a maximum aura cap of 3, and they do seem to be something that would stack well. I have 1 on, and I'm waiting for some stuff to repair before I put on a second one. I'll probably only put on 2 because I had max build tokens prior to the raid, and I still had my chest unopened. So I have a lot of build tokens to play around with. I wish it was figure out a way to get it closer to exactly 2 days, as opposed to to refit is 1 day, 19 hours and change.
Yeah.
So, just shy of 1 day, 20 hours. So I wish I could figure out a way to make that a little closer to, but yeah, I lost, 4 hours by using the tokens. But yeah, I'll see. But yeah, it appears to be working. It's in the unlock store, everybody. And they increased the unlock redeem for the cheap Manicore tokens, which I recommend that you get if you're in that sort of price point where they're they're 2 million per token for 1 day in the unlock store, while they're 4 million per token in the lock store. So I would recommend definitely claiming those first if you plan on claiming any tokens at all. And those 2 tokens will allow you to get 1 Darkwing on your mana core. So anybody else? Mike, Daniel, Grimace, Dr. Death?
I've got 3 ships equipped with the Nightwing thing, and it's made a definite difference in the amount of damage that I'm taking.
Okay.
I've got the targets. I can do a full S set now for between 5 and 6 coins without a crew.
Okay. Yeah, and as far as the crew goes, the 1-star Steelhead appears to be the most effective for me. Is that true across the board?
I haven't even been using any crews.
Okay.
I have not tried the Steelhead. I've got 4 Scatter Manticores, and I've tried the Molotov Maiden with the splash and the spread, and that seemed to work for me. Okay,
well, try it relative to the Steelhead at some point and see how that works. The plus 15 resistance one, and see if that one.
It's got no corrosive though. It's only got the missile, the penetrative, isn't it?
I'm
pretty sure it has. Yeah.
Yeah, but I bet that's the.
I would have to double check that because I think that was one of the ones they potentially have updated. But
I think you're taking more penetrative damage than you are corrosive anyway in these targets. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, so, especially how you drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because they still haven't fixed what I consider to be sort of a sneaky thing that they've done. Is it appears that every ship has invisible scatter guns, or they're very small, or they're colored the same color as the water. Because you'll notice that you'll see if you keep moving, if you're running the scatter guns, you'll notice that you'll be 4 splashes behind you in the water if you keep on moving. And if you're standing still and trying to do the normal kite thing, you won't see them because I think they're landing on you. Especially if they're rushing at you, the ones that aren't going in a predetermined path, but they're rushing at you and trying to get as close as possible. If you keep on moving perpendicular to that, I think you're avoiding a lot of that damage. And if you start seeing your damage with your ships returning, having pretty consistent damage across all the ships, means you're probably getting hit by them quite often. Okay. Wilbert says it's red if you look. Does anybody? I have never. I mean, I guess my screen's not big enough to see them.
I haven't looked close enough this raid, but last raid you could see them, but you had to. I mean, I have a little screen too, and I had to like lean in and look real close, and you could see the little red projectiles.
Okay.
But they're really small.
Okay.
But yeah, I haven't looked this raid.
I know they still haven't fixed the targeting bug on the big ships when they die.
Oh, really? The one where if you click on the place a turret was, you would stop, or they'll shoot after they die.
Where it just stops your fleet dead if you're clicking around the area where the ship is down at. Your fleet just stops dead in the water. That's ridiculous. That should have been fixed.
Okay. Yeah, I think they said it was fixed. At least that's the way we read one of the bug fixes a couple of weeks ago. But that was fixed. I forget the exact wording. Sometimes they're written in such a way that it's difficult to determine what the actual issue was by reading the what's been posted. So okay, Magic Mike, we haven't heard from you today.
Well, I walked away for a few minutes. I just came back.
Okay. How's your raid going, and whatnot?
Since I made those changes with the countermeasure loader and the sprints and put that new CIC on, I am taking less damage.
Yeah.
But I am still doing it the Mike way, which Spending less time in the dock, though.
Okay.
Don't spend any coins, and I'm at 43 million, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I talked to Mike. Was having issues earlier in the raid with the executioners that are on the big floating bases or whatever you want to call them, and he watched me at one point and realized that none of them were landing in the 80s. And I think the reason that none of them were landing, and it's sort of confirmed by the way that he changed his one of his ships to have 2 sprints and countermeasure loaders 4, and it stops them all. Doesn't at this point?
Yep.
Yeah, that was one of my questions about this raid. Like, we had talked before about phalanxes working, not working, sprints working, not working, and then the other stuff. But like, I'm just running sprints, and I don't counter any of the missiles coming off the regular ships. They don't even fire at those. They only fire at the executioners. So are the phalanxes shooting at the missiles from the ships?
Man, I don't think so.
It's hard to tell. They're moving so fast that it's one of those things I guess I should videotape it and slow it down. It does look like there's less hitting than they fire, but I don't know if that's part of the graphics bug or what.
On the fleet that Kick sold, there was a phalanx and a switchblade.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are we supposed to be using switchblades?
Mike, you have one switchblade.
Played on, and it didn't seem to do anything.
Yeah, I don't know if one would be really enough to see much of a difference, though, would it? Because you got so much crap coming at you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it would be, but
well, I was like lucky to get 30% of those projectiles.
But it was shooting at something.
Occasionally, I would. Well, I don't know. It was only on one. It was only on one ship, so I'm not sure what was.
Okay, so you think the switchblades were firing at the executioners?
I couldn't tell because I was very unsuccessful, and then I put 2 sprints on another ship,
mm-hmm.
and it didn't do much better at all. Then I put the 2 sprints on the flag, which is neither here nor there, with the countermeasure reloaders 4, and now I hit nearly all of them.
But are you shooting the missiles on the small ships? On any of them?
I'm gonna have to pay closer attention. It's hard to tell.
Any of those missiles?
I don't notice any of them making the little puff, when you hit them. I don't notice any of that.
I mean, because that's just my train of thought is right now I'm running sprints, but I have a couple of spots where, because I have refitted my ships and they're not all perfect right now. I have a couple spots where I could refit to like a Phalanx 4 or a Switchblade if it would help me take a little bit less damage from the smaller ships. But I don't know if anything shoots at those.
The phalanxes do work on the smaller ships.
The problem I ran into, I had 2 phalanxes in my fleet, but I wasn't, because I had those phalanxes in there, I was not shooting down all of the executioner missiles. As soon as I took and refit and took those 2 phalanxes out of the fleet, now I shoot down all the executioners, but I don't shoot any of the missiles off the small ships. It doesn't matter if it's if it's one of the prototypes or if it's one of the regular. I don't shoot at anything.
Yeah, the sprints don't shoot at any of them coming from the small ships. But I had seen there was a video floating around from last raid where I forget the guy's name, but he had one ship with Phalanx 4s on it, and then one ship with sprints. And if it was just the Phalanx ship, it would shoot down most of the missiles from the executioners, I believe. And then if he got the ship with the sprints in too close, all of a sudden the ship with the Phalanx 4s was getting hit a lot. They were like interfering with each other or something. And so like That's what I've been questioning this whole time, is what is the loadout that we need to, take out as many of the enemy missiles as possible. Right now, I'm pretty happy with taking out all of the turret missiles, the executioners. That's great.
Mhm.
But if I could take out a few more missiles from the ships, that would be even better.
I don't know. What I'm looking at my screen right now, and it looks like I'm taking down both, and I have like 2 phalanxes. And I have one. I think I have 1 or 2.
Sprints.
Oh no. What are they called?
Switchblades? Gales.
two gales. Yeah.
Now that's thrown a whole other. The
Well, I
Gales
put
of
the
fire.
gales on the Cadies. I mean,
Okay.
but I'm watching it right now, and I'm seeing the puffs of smoke, and it's taking down the big missiles that come in from the big ships. So maybe the gales might actually work. I'm not sure.
But they shouldn't.
No, they shouldn't. I mean, yeah, the way it's working should have been explained at some point.
And I don't have any sprints on this fleet. Like, this is just the Cadies with Phoenixes, which I use.
And you're shooting down 100% of the executioner missiles?
No. Well, apparently, yeah. But I don't know.
Do you get ice patches?
I get
the
ice
Cadies
patches
sort of
in the middle of like nowhere, where the missiles disappeared. That's what happens. Is that shooting them all down?
Shooting them all down. I think you won't even get any ice patches. It's sort of probably clouding the issue with the Cadies.
I'm still getting ice patches, and I think
In the 80s?
Yeah, and I think I see all those executioners going away. I'm gonna be out in a minute and try it.
Well,
Okay.
I shoot down all the executioners, and the only time I get an ice patch is if I let one of the Kodiaks with the prototype weapon get too close.
That's where I think the ice patches are coming from.
Okay, yeah. The ice patches from the Kodiaks will occur.
Mhm.
You can't
But
shoot
as
those.
far as from the executioners,
And I see tracer rounds going for those missiles as well. I see the tracer bullets coming from the countermeasures. So I'm thinking, yeah, they're shooting at them, but they're not taking them all down.
But yeah, I'm with Dr. Death. I just have sprints, and I've taken down 100% of all the executioner missiles so far.
Mhm.
Not a single one of those has hit me. But they don't fire at any of the ones from the small ships. So anything that doesn't miss through evade, I'm getting hit with.
okay. But nobody's tried any of the new reinforcements to see how they work. Dr. Death, you'd be the most likely, I think.
I'm scared of that special because it's got a lower resistance than the regular.
Yeah. Rampage went on and said, explain that it should work on Rampage Live, but I was like, you're asking a lot from your players that you don't divulge the armaments that the PvE targets have. And so there's no, you see the numbers and you're like, okay, well, this may or may not be better. I mean, it makes sense if it's a high salvo weapon, and sacrificing some reinforcement number, the resistance numbers for some structure deflection or ship deflection. That makes sense, but these don't appear to be. I mean, I don't. Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, because we don't know a lot about how this is working. I mean, are all the ice fields the same, and are they just slowing us down, or are they also lowering our resistances at the same time? I don't.
That's what I'd like to know.
By the way, I saw that Cuttlefish had said in chat that he has all phalanxes, and they're shooting at the small missiles. I'm assuming he means from the smaller ships, but they're not shooting down many of them, and they get 2 of the 3 executioners, which is
That was kind of my experience.
it's just odd because again, the phalanxes should be more accurate. than the sprints, but the sprints take them all out.
Makes you question where that 100% accuracy is supposed to be at.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, but if they put their evade, if they put the flak evade at whatever number they have it at, yeah, then the 100% accuracy is no longer 100%. Is what I'm saying.
But then the phalanxes should still be better because you can boost the accuracy on them, correct? And you can't on the sprints, isn't that right?
Yeah, but I think the sprints? I don't think the sprints tag.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Because the sprints don't tag, and there's not a lot of the executioner missiles that come out. If you have a couple of them, they're going to be firing several times at those incoming missiles, so more likely to stop them at that point.
I'll have to look because I think they just shoot once and they just take them out. I mean, they're just super accurate.
Okay.
I haven't noticed them just spamming away shots at them. It seems to take them out just almost immediately.
Yeah, that's been my experience. The sprints are just, I mean, the missiles come out and you see your sprint fire and it's gone. I mean, it's like it never misses.
Yeah.
But it never fires at the small ships, even if they're not the prototype.
Nope.
And it should be firing at the small ships.
Yeah, the one interesting part as far as the executioners go that, like Mike with your refit, that you put the sprints on, but you didn't have the countermeasure loaders.
Right.
And prior to putting on the countermeasure loader 4, they were still getting through.
Correct.
And the countermeasure loaders in some way, which basically extends range and reload on them, doesn't increase accuracy. That made the difference, not an accuracy bonus. So that's why I'm thinking they're not tagging, or maybe we're not seeing that they're not hitting them the first time, or maybe all the blueprints are just craziness that we shouldn't be paying attention to. So, because there's no accuracy increase associated with that, and it made a drastic difference on his build.
It did.
Absolutely. Going from basically not stopping them to stopping pretty much all of them.
Right.
So, the Borges asks, has anybody used the purchase mana core? I don't think anybody in this group has. Yeah, it was an interesting, or close to the build, because you have. Does anybody have? I don't think anybody here has a combination of phalanxes and switchblades. 1 for 1, like it had on that build. It was, 1 phalanx per ship, and one switchblade. Oh, and they have. Well, they don't all have tack insulators. The ones that have tack insulators, I think, are the missile ones, because they're selling 2 different flavors. Or they're selling a scattergun version and they're selling a missile version. Okay. Trying to think of Daniel, do you have anything to say about the phalanx experience? As far as
I just started noticing it right now when you guys were talking about it, because I'm still hitting targets while you guys are talking. So it's not much. I would think you would think the sprint wouldn't be that effective, but apparently it is.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about that because it was like weird. I mean, because you weren't around for last raid cycle, and they did a weird thing where countermeasures would fire at one thing, but anti-missile would fire at something else. And that's what I'm wondering about what's going on here, is if they've done something similar where, even though if you look at a blueprint and it says, okay, these all fire at missiles and they should all be the same, it's just confusing, especially with with Cuttlefish saying that his phalanxes are shooting down 2/3 of the executioners, that makes it even more confusing, because that means that they're firing at them but not hitting them often enough.
Well, I mean, I went through that last raid because I had Phalanx 4s on my ships, and I replaced them with sprints, and it was night and day difference.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, we were questioning it then, like, why is this? The Phalanx should be a lot more accurate.
What
and
about
then
projectile speed?
I don't think that's it.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
But
accuracy is one thing, but what about the projectile speed being the fastest, so that it gets to the target in time for before it hits the ship?
I mean, Cuttlefish is saying that, you know, his phalanxes are shooting at the executioners. They're just not as effective. And I saw that last raid too. They were shooting at them. They just were missing a lot. And then when I went to sprints, it totally shut them down. But then I noticed in the VXP targets that we just had, you know, we started noticing that the sprints weren't shooting at the small missile ships. I mean, the small ships missiles. And we were like, what's going on? Are they doing this thing where you have to have one, you know, countermeasure for this and the anti-missile for this or whatever? But they never came out and said. In last raid series, they came out and said, you need this type of countermeasure for this. And, you know, and so it's just a weird thing that's going on. I think we lost Hefe. It must be beer time.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be nice if someone that had all phalanxes or something would go and test, and then someone that has all switchblades would go and test, and then someone that has all sprints would go and test.
I would test the 100s, but the thing is, I'm locked out of it.
Oh, yeah.
They won't let me in.
I mean, that would be nice.
I've got nothing but sprints in my fleet, and I shoot down 100% of the executioners, but I do not fire at a single one of the small ships missiles.
Yeah, I mean, I have the same experience. I'm hoping, I don't know where George is, but I'm hoping he'll come on. Maybe he has some people that have been testing the different countermeasures or something, and maybe we can get some more answers.
So I'm wondering if I don't put, like, if I put the countermeasure, you know, the countermeasure loader 4 on there for the sprints, and then take one ship and make certain I have no countermeasure boosts on it whatsoever, and put phalanxes on, if the phalanxes will fire at the small ship missiles, but because they have the less range, I still get the benefit of the sprints. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I was planning on doing if I end up like switching a couple of those ships over. I was just trying to get some feedback, you know, to see if I even want to attempt that or not, because I'd be wasting tokens if not.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. That's why I haven't done it yet. I did just waste a token, though. I'm doing an experiment for Hefe. I'm checking out this new armor to see if it's going to make any difference on the ship.
Right on. 2M in chat said that he's using sprints and switchblades. 2M, your switchblades, what are they shooting at? That's what we're kind of curious about, or one of the things. It's like, are they shooting at the executioners from the turrets or the small ship? Okay, and so do you have them on the same ship, or are they on different ships? So he was saying that his switchblades are firing at the small ships, and the sprints take out the executioners. So that might be the way to go. And he's got them on different ships. Do they both have like a range extenders, so that they're both long range, or you know, and maybe not interfering with each other? Because that's the other thing I think that's going on too, is especially with the phalanx and the sprints, when you know, like you were saying, Dr. Death, if you have them both at long range, they're interfering with each other. So he's got all specials the same. So interesting. That almost sounds like the switchblades are, or that's what he's saying is the switchblades fire at the small ship missiles, and the sprints fire at the executioner turrets. So that's like last raid, where they had specific countermeasures for specific.
And is he saying that he's shooting down 100% of the executioners?
I don't think he said yet. That's a good question.
Well, it all depends. If we're only hitting, if you're hitting the 100s, of course, the flak evade of those missiles are probably going to be more, right?
Yeah. He's saying the small ship missiles some of them do get through, but all executioners are shot down. So that sounds like probably more the direction to go to me.
My question is, there's two types of manticores you could build. Which one is better, missiles or the?
I think just from what I've seen, if you don't mind driving the missile ones, because you can outrange a lot of things.
Mhm.
If you can't be bothered with driving, then obviously the scatter guns, because you just go in and auto.
Yeah,
and
there
I
was
mean,
a video out there of somebody using missiles that did it for instant repair, I think.
Yeah, I mean, because you can outrange just about everything with the missile ones. But I haven't built any missile ones yet. I've got the empty holes built, but nothing equipped on them really. So
yeah, me too. I'm just putting stuff on as I can. I'm
autoing and then long repairing.
No, see, I've got the missile fleet built, and that's what I'm using, and I'm driving, and I'm doing the 100 for consistently about 50 minutes of damage, and I'm doing the 102 is running right about an hour and 20 minutes.
Are you driving?
Are
you driving very carefully, or are you just bull rushing everything?
I'm pretty much just bull rushing everything. I've not really tried to kite. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you were kiting, you'd probably do it for next to instant repair or instant repair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish they had released the missile first, or given us a choice right at the beginning, because I would have gone with the missile.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, because I'm getting about 15% more damage using the scatter guns on those targets. So, yeah, maybe try it one time and try to kite stuff, and I think you'll see a huge world of difference.
Yeah, Vincent in chat was saying that he's driving with a missile fleet and he gets 11 minutes total repair, instant and dock.
Beautiful.
For the 100, he's getting about an hour for the 102. Yeah, the 102 is a trickier. I'm taking consistently more damage than the 102.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's way more damaging.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was curious about the countermeasures, because it seems like the ship's missiles are the ones doing so much damage to me. Because when I go up against those ships, I start taking huge chunks out, of health. So I don't know if you heard that, Hefe, that switchblades and sprints seem to be firing at different things. The sprints are firing at the executioners, and the switchblades are firing at the ship missiles.
Yeah. Also, the phalanx and the phalanx is also okay. So there's a definite divide between those two, which doesn't make any sense from the blueprints, but because everything is a little bit confusing. Because when Cuttlefish brought in the phalanxes were shooting at the executioners. It wasn't really what I thought I was seeing originally, but I have sprints on mine now. So,
well, it sounds like the phalanxes are shooting at everything, just not very well.
Yeah.
And the sprints are shooting really well at the executioner missiles, and the switchblades are doing okay against the ship missiles. But of course, they have a lot of evade on them, so flak evade.
Yeah, and I assume the switchblades are used on the scattergun ships because of the roaring barrel special or whatever it is, because of the +3 multi-shot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I might end up switching a couple of my ships to a couple of switchblades and see if it helps me any.
Okay. What is everybody doing with as far as their raid prizes are going? Are people out there building their Proto Centurion? Or it's a 10-day build, but for the haul, which is nice, but the weapon is crazy long.
Yeah,
18. Yeah. No, it's longer than that. I think it's closer to 18 hours. I had to check my slides.
Okay.
I'm talking about the ship. You said 10 days.
10 hours. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that because you're like, that's not too bad. And I thought you were being sarcastic.
Yeah, no. It's 10 hours. It's 10 hours for the ship, and it's 18 hours, 9 minutes, and 44 seconds for the weapon.
You know, it kind of seems like, because everybody said we need shorter ship build times.
Yeah.
And it kind of sounds like they're like, okay, well, we'll make your ships really, like, have low build times, but then all the crap you put on them is going to be, like, triple build times.
I think, honestly, I think the reason why Kixeye put such a short build time on this hole and on the Proto Tideseeker was just for one purpose and one purpose only. So more people will get them out before VXP weekend and suicide them.
Yeah, it is. I was being sarcastic, but yeah, it's they want you to get them out, and because you're more likely to build them if you get the empty holes out and skull them or whatever, rank them up. You're more likely to commit to building them.
No, what's the whole point of building them to just do the dubs?
And maybe
TLCs.
TLCs is what we're afraid of.
Yeah, that's what
I think he said that today in the in his report, didn't he? That they would be used for the future TLCs.
Yeah, but
yeah. He said that would be. Yeah, we're going to see a TLC this next week that involves a siege target that we can use. The Proto Centurion in.
I'm almost going to bet that if you don't have at least one Proto Centurion fully built for that TLC to put with whatever you use, your Bucks or your Hydras, you don't have one fully built. I'm almost going to bet that it's going to cost you an arm and a leg to do the mastery round.
Yeah, and the other issue is also the next time Siege comes around. And, well, I mean, I guess hopefully they still let us win the stuff with the previous weapon, but as far as I'm just curious how it's going to impact the next raid. Because right now, I mean, a lot of people in the first go round, if they didn't get it early, quote unquote early, they're going to be using, their Bucks or Hydras in the next siege round. But I'm assuming at that point they're going to be gaming the lower end targets in that first round for the Proto Centurion. So, I mean, unless they forget about it. I mean, it's one of those parts of the game that I just wish that they would forget about, like the Foundry and the Megas and all that kind of stuff, where it's sort of not. I sort of wish they forgot about the Megas, but they haven't really. But they're not paying as much attention to certain parts of the game because there wasn't even a Mega TLC last month. The whole month there wasn't a single one. Which is a little bit telling what they think about it. Because I've always pushed that they put a Mega TLC on VXP, the same weekend as put a Mega TLC the same weekend as VXP weekend during that week. But we didn't get a single one this whole month, which I'm not sure how to read into that. Unless anybody has some ideas on that.
It's not making them any coins because no one's willing to coin Mega Hull on that super long fucking repair.
Yeah. I mean, unless they're planning to rework it. The other thing that was interesting that Rampage announced was the fact that they might be pushing out the secure base and some of the balancing out next week as opposed to the following week, if they can get it past QA and whatnot.
Oh, they need to. They need to give us time to adjust before bounty.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it makes sense, at least as far as the countermeasures / PvP changes that are going on. I mean, that part makes sense. I'm not sure about the secure base. I don't know why they, if they know how to do it, why didn't they do it this week? Why wait so long? I mean, I guess there's some QA issues. If they don't do it right and they end up removing turrets from a bunch of players that had no issues with their base, don't even know how to hack, yeah, that could go really badly for them. So Candy Apple says he has no dock space. Yeah, that's an issue, and I'm not sure. Players have been asking for additional dock space for a long time, and I'm not sure if it's a technical issue or it's a game issue. Like a loading memory issue, or it's because originally the dock space was put in for a particular reason. It was to prevent, it was back at the point where, if you had MCXs, you could do anything with them. And so it prevented players from just building MCX after MCX and, getting to a raid and just not even bothering to repair. Just like, I have 100 MCXs, I'm just going to use them how I wish, and throwing off that. But that's no longer an issue at this point. Because of the speciality of the hulls and the weapons and whatnot, and this whole class system that we're seeing at this point. But so I'm assuming it's a technical issue, since we haven't really got any feedback from them. It's sort of been quiet regarding the dock space issue.
Then why come out with so many different holes that people need if they're not going to be able to expand our dock space?
They don't think so far ahead, as far as I know.
Maybe they are going to make a change at some point. I don't know.
No, Kingside's looking at it as black and white. Really, the only thing you need is your top raid fleet, you need your FM fleet, you need and then you need each of your resource fleets. And you have enough dock space to have just those fleets. And then, of course, a base guard and a base hitter. You know what I'm saying? So there is enough space for you to put those fleets in. Everything else is sentimental. You know what I mean? People hold on to ships for freaking years that they loved playing with, and they don't want to delete them.
Well, yes and no. I mean, look at the Savage Kodiak and how beneficial that was. And, a lot of people scrapped theirs and they had to turn around and rebuild them for the FM.
Yep. And I'm surprised they made it so relevant in the FM. And has Dr. Death, are you, I'm assuming you're running a Mancera with your missile mana cores. Have you tried it with the Savage Kodiak to see if it's actually equally efficient?
No.
Okay. Yeah, because that between the reload and the defense, it seems like it would almost be potentially a better choice, even though you're losing the firepower. Because
but I don't hit anything under an S target, and you can't take the Savage into the S.
Okay, yeah. That's true. So I guess they're leaving that open, like they've left the Katie's thing open.
Does the Darkwing average your speed to that Savage Kodiak if you have one of those, or is it just to other Manticores?
It's only two other Manticores. As far as the blueprint says.
Okay. I was just curious when he said that. I was thinking, what if it, drops it down to nothing?
Yeah, that would be fascinating.
Okay, can I just butt in for a sec?
Go ahead. Good morning.
G'day. Now I've got 4 scatter Manticores, and I took with a grease monkey. I took between 5, 6 to 8 coins on a 102, and maybe up to 5 on a 100. I just put 3 of the new CICs on the what do you call it?
Nanocore?
Yeah, the Darkwing CIC.
Mm-hmm.
And I just done a 102 for 3 coins, and a 100 for 50-minute repair. So it certainly did knock it down. And I've only got 4. I haven't got 5. I haven't got the Makara or anything like that. As of the countermeasures, I've got two of my ships have got phalanxes and 2 have got the sprint on. In a 100, I sometimes get all the turret missiles, all the executioners. Sometimes there's 1 missing. And in a 102s, I usually get about 3 of the 4. On the actual little Kodiaks, I seem to be in ice fields all the time, so I don't think anything's shooting at that. And if it does, it's missing. Because I seem to be sitting in ice fields all the time. As soon as there's a Savage nearby, I'll be sitting in an ice field.
Well, I think the ice fields are the missiles that are not counterable anyway.
Okay.
So you're going to get those.
Yeah, so that was my experience. I've just refitted just then, and it's a few coins cheaper, so it's not. I don't mind it. It's all right. Just need the 5th ship.
It was asked in chat, did you auto them or drive them? I assume you drove them, right?
I drove them, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you drive, you can definitely get the damage down even lower if you drive correctly. And that is put 1 ship out front so it gets the attention of the ships that are incoming, and keep your other ships a little further back, off to the side, whatever, so that they're not getting all the splash and they're not sitting in the ice fields. And you can get your damage down pretty low by driving. I just got lazy and I started autoing them.
I don't have like the nice fleets that you guys have, but if you're
shut up! You got a Katie's.
Well, I got the Katie's. That's it. But if you're constantly inside of ice fields, wouldn't it be better to have the resonance capacitor? I know that's an old special, but
you're not constantly in ice fields. It's just periodically you get an ice field.
And doesn't that ice field produce a debuff to your defense?
I don't think anybody knows for sure.
It does something because you get a red down arrow at least. It slows you down.
It does slow you down. It slows you down.
But
it may slow the reload of your weapons as well, at a guess.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's allowing you to take extra damage from those.
Well, usually ice fields, they decrease your defense. They decrease your defense, you decrease your reload, and they decrease your speed all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they don't seem to decrease the reload because from what I've just noticed, the scatterguns seem to fire at the same speed.
So if you put resonance capacitor on, it'll when the ice field hits you, it'll basically increase your defense.
But you don't have doesn't that one have turret defense that's activated when the resonance capacitor is activated, and it won't be activated unless you're in a field? So
No,
when
no,
you go
you're
up
talking
against,
about resident. You're talking about residents. You're talking about the other one.
here,
Capacitor has turret defense. Battery does not.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
the battery. Yeah, I'm talking about the battery. Yeah. And we're only fighting ships at this moment, right?
No,
no turrets.
there's turrets in there.
Yeah, those are turrets on the big ships that have like the executioners and the scatter guns. Those are considered buildings.
Those are considered buildings. Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know that. I'm sorry.
No problem.
I'm like
So
thinking you don't need turret defense. You don't need building damage. What's the whole point? They're all ships.
Yeah, they're floating bases.
Okay. So yeah, I mean maybe having the residence battery, yeah, might actually work.
I'm not certain. I mean, if we had like if the frost burns were faster, they might be useful. But yeah, frost burns, Harlock Aegis, things like that. That just their whole field just negates any of these things. But they're so abdicated and so slow at this point.
You can't get them in there, though, can you?
No.
Well, not into the 100s, but yeah.
Because Kickstarter doesn't like us to experiment.
Well, and also they'd be so slow at this point.
If you put the old Reaver engine on, I mean it only shortens your weapon range, but it gives you the extra speed.
Yeah, they'd still be so slow relative to today's game. Because I'd looked at times just like, oh, how can I use the Harlock Aegis at this point? And I'm like, you can't. It's just, yeah, even with the Reaver Scout engine, you're not getting that fast.
Yeah.
The base speeds are so slow. So
there's got to be a unconventional way of viewing this. So.
Okay, Hefe, I have been testing out your question, and I've hit now 5 targets.
okay.
I've hit 2 100s and I've hit 3 102s. I put one of the penetrating armor specials on one ship.
Okay.
And it's still taking the exact same amount of damage as it was when I had the layered or the RA on there, RA3.
Okay.
So I'm not seeing any change whatsoever in the damage the ship is taking.
You said you're allowed to stack them? You put 3 on one ship, is that what you said?
No. I put just one of the specials. I changed out the RA3 for the new penetrating special.
Okay.
That has the ship deflection.
Mm-hmm.
And now I've hit 5 targets. I've hit 3 102s and I've hit 2 100s.
Okay.
And I'm still taking the exact same damage.
Okay.
So it didn't hurt me, but it didn't help me either.
Okay. It's good to know because, people are earning them automatically, but it wasn't the build time like 1 day and 3 hours or something like that?
Yeah, it was 1 day, 4 hours for me to refit it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. And it's a semi-expensive special unless you're hitting the S sets. I'm trying to figure out where it's going to fit in the game. Maybe it's not for this raid. Maybe it's for next raid. Maybe the missile one or maybe the missile one is something you're supposed to use in the FM. I don't know. I'm a little bit of in a quandary with that because we don't have the information to say until you tested it that this is a good idea or a bad idea in this particular target because we don't have the stats on what's firing at us. And this is interesting that they ask us to make this choice while they know that we do not have this information available to us. Because this is sort of like the deflection damage thing. This is sort of like, which we know about the potential from in PvP, like what the other guy could have, but we have no idea in PvE what our enemy could have because a long time ago they stopped using our weapons and told us, oh, they can have better stuff than you, which was a problem for a lot of players at the beginning because we wanted to like try and, because they had the same ships, we would try and build our ships like theirs and then figure out how to beat them. So, yeah. But thanks for the info that it seems to be, it doesn't seem to change much.
I'm wondering, though, if it would make a difference if I would see, because I don't have the scatter fleet, I got the missile fleet. I'm wondering if the penetrative special would be better on the scatter. You know what I mean? If you would see a difference there.
There's also the issue with the diminishing returns that we see and the Darkwing. And you have Darkwing on this fleet?
Yeah, I've got Darkwing on 3 of the ships, but not on the ship that I put the new special on.
Yeah, but the Darkwing is boosting the bonuses on that ship as well with the plus 15%. So, you know, because it's, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's. I
mean, it would make sense if like the Darkwing. I had 93% corrosive deflection or defense. Sorry, on my scatters. When I put the Darkwing on, it went from 93 down to 89. So
yeah, but it's not factoring in the 15% that it's giving to all those ships either. You're not seeing that in the little blueprint tooltip or whatever.
Yeah, but I was just thinking if you, instead of the, I mean, I've got the corrosive engine on, the penetrative engine, the resistor, sorry, and if I put the corrosive resistor on it, I wonder if that would make make more difference than what it already did. I'll have to see. Maybe do it.
I mean, I did notice in my stat block, though, by putting that special on, I went from a 97 penetrating defense down to a 92 penetrating defense. But I'm still taking the exact same amount of damage. So I'm wondering if that ship deflection isn't doing definitely something.
Yeah, but is it worth the time to refit if your ships are already built?
Yeah, like I said, it's not giving me any benefit, so it was a waste of a day's build for me to do the refit. But I wanted to test it out. You know, Hefe asked if I'd test it, so I tested it. You know, and like I said, I'm not seeing any difference whatsoever in the damage. But in my stat block, I'm seeing a major difference in the defense. My penetrating defense went from 97 to 92.
I think what he was getting at too is if someone did not have those Darkwing CICs and they just went with the specials, which, I mean, I don't know anyone that would probably happen to, because you're probably going to get the Darkwing CIC first. But I think he was questioning whether or not that would make a difference, because your defense values wouldn't be so crazy high, you know, and then when you place that special on, you're only seeing a small change. Whereas if you took all those Darkwings away, that special would make a bigger difference one way or the other, possibly.
Right? I think it would hurt you because you're losing so much penalty. Think of how much damage you're taking extra by dropping from 97 to 92.
Yeah, and I agree with you. That's kind of what my thoughts were on it, that it's probably going to hurt you more by putting that on.
But what doesn't make sense is, you know, I drop the defense from 97 to 92, and then I gain a 100 ship deflection. That just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, but you're running those three CICs, which are all giving you another 15% defense, bonus to defense, that you're not seeing on your little tooltip. So that's boosting everything up even more.
15% defense, that's taking my regulars up to about a 99 penetrating defense, and it would take this one up to about, what, a 95? So
I don't know without sitting down and doing the math, but
yeah, so that's still 90 from a 95 to a 99. That's still a massive amount of damage. You know what I mean?
You would think it would be, but if you're not seeing it, then I mean, like Hefe was, I think, saying, you know, once it gets to that point, it's just very minute changes. But yeah, normally a drop from like 99 to 95 is a huge change. Because when you get up to those values, the amount of damage that you're, protecting yourself from, the values just get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, that's so this special is not really making sense to me right now. Because I should have either if I should have either taken a lot more damage or I should have taken a lot less damage, depending on the way the target is set up, and I'm not seeing it change at all. I mean, I'm still running right at the same numbers I've been running this whole raid.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Also makes me afraid not to get it just in case it will be useful on something else.
Yeah. Well, I've got now, I think I've got 4 of each of them now, so. Because I'm up to 200 million points and all I've been hitting is the S sets. Nice. One of each. So I think I'm sitting on 4 of the blueprints now for each one. And I know I'll end up killing at least another 4 sets easily, so or 5 sets. So I'll have 5 of each. That takes care of 2 fleets. So if I need them in the future, I've got them.
Yeah.
But I think it's bullshit that they're dropping them as a fucking limited with, and you got to get shards to claim them.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing the value for that.
They're making people hit up if they want the special goodies.
Right, but it's not a special goodie if it's not doing anything good. Like I said, for me to have had to kill 5 fucking targets to get 1 blueprint, then that 1 damn blueprint should have made that ship a lot fucking tougher.
Yeah, but how many times have they done that? And I think I'm getting feedback from you, Dr. Death.
You might be. I don't have anything else on, but you might be. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm still getting feedback from that.
Yeah, I'm getting feedback from everybody.
It's weird.
It might be the YouTubes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hangouts. And our master's not here. Must have been beer time again.
I just hope it's not a trend that Kix wants to continue with the shards for specials that you may or may not need later on. Because it's just a way of certain people getting that and certain players just not having a chance,
Yeah, but you also got to look at it like this, Toxic. Kixeye in the past, and this is something they've done over and over again. If they put out something like this and a whole bunch of people get it, it's not gonna have any value in the game. But if they put something out like this and only a few people actually chase it and get it, then they end up throwing out a target where it's a must-have special.
You're right, Doctor, but if you look at the leaderboards, it's like disgusting. Every raid, they had to know that these guys that either are spending a ton of coins, hacking or whatever, are going to be on the top of the list. If they're only going to give 5, there's no real incentive for people. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't even have 5 of each yet. I'm sitting at 200 million, and I haven't even broken the top.
To 5 people give. Oh, you're talking about.
Yeah, you guys are talking about different things.
Yeah, we're talking about different. I'm talking about the completed ship, or the.
Yeah, the KDs. That's yeah. I mean,
that was ridiculous.
It's good for doing the A set in this raid, but I'm almost going to bet that after this raid, its value is going to fall.
Look, I don't.
Everyone said that last raid.
No, yeah. I think the Kixeye is not. Kixeye's got too many whales. There's too many whales that have claimed the Cadies and built it. So Kixeye's not going to take and kill the Cadies this raid because they've already pissed their whales off too much as it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So they can't do it next time because they're generating. If they do the same thing next time, because they're getting a lot of action at the top of the leaderboard that they wouldn't otherwise. So I actually like this move because all these guys have the Cadies. They just want to get another one.
Yeah.
And so it's not really impacting anybody. But they're, the point totals are at the top end are way up there.
Yeah. Right. That's what I mean. They never have a chance. I mean, how far do you got to go down?
But the thing is, they got to keep the lights on, right? So either they suck it out of in-game things like repair and build times or whatnot, or they make something like that where people just, the whales coin and get their stuff on the leaderboard.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it's it's a good thing.
Yeah,
I actually like this raid.
I don't have a problem with this at all. All I'm saying is they're not going to nerf the Cadies. They're not going to kill the Cadies. Cadies going to be able to do the A set this entire raid set. Yeah, I know a lot of people keep saying no, Kix is going to block it out. No, Kix is not going to do a thing to that Cadies this raid set. They're going to leave it being able to do A set because they've got all these whales that coined that thing. You know what I mean? And they've already pissed the whales off a lot. They've lost a lot of whales over the last 2 months. You know what I mean? And to hold on to the ones they got, they're going to try and keep them happy. So no, they're not going to nerf it. But I don't think after this raid series is up, we're going to see another target where the Cadies is going to perform at this level.
Okay, I understand what you're saying because you're referring to the multiple layers of the Cadies,
right?
As you go down, yeah, maybe. It's hard to tell. Because I don't know what the total Cadies ownership is. But yeah, to work at this level, where you can just go in and basically hit things for instant repair. Yeah, I don't see that, but I still see it having an advantage for maybe a year since it was born, so to speak. I don't know. How's your Cadies doing, Rum?
It's doing fine. It hadn't gotten a whole lot of use this time. I've decided to use the Manicores because the points accumulate faster. So I've used it a little bit the first day while I was at work. It does great.
You should loan it out to me.
They're not going to nerf that Cadies this raid series. Where it's good, the next 2 raids after this one, the whole story, the whole thing, the Cadies is still going to be able to rock out the A sets. I truly believe that. I don't think Kixeye will do anything to the Cadies because the uproar from their whales is just going to be insane.
Well, they've already done it. You don't have one, do you?
Oh, I've got the blueprint, but I ain't built it. I won't.
But you don't have one, do you? You have the blueprint, but you don't have the ship, right?
I've got the blueprint for every capital ship and haven't built a single one. I stated way back when I never would.
But you don't have the experience to know exactly what you're talking about, do you?
I'm just saying,
No, that's not what I asked.
No, he's projecting forward is what he's doing, so it doesn't really require.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying,
but it does because they've already nerfed it.
Okay. You're doing the A set for free repair. That's not a nerf.
Doctor, you're not letting someone else speak. You're louder than everybody else. We can all turn our mic up or shout if we need to, but you don't have one. What I'm trying to say is they've already nerfed it because it's not operating the way that it's supposed to. So they shouldn't do anything else to it. The ability to stop taking damage at a certain point to use the ship in a different type target. Now, whenever it dies, you start back over on the assault type drones the first time all the way through, and it's very difficult to kill those to get to the next damage type. So, in a way, they have all.
That's the way the Cadies blueprint was always read, though. Is
No, it wasn't. I'm going
to mute you both if you don't stop it.
If he's going to try to talk over me, I'm going to do the same damn thing.
Well, I'll mute you both. How about that? Okay. One at a time, gentlemen. Proceed.
That's not the way that it was originally designed. It was originally designed so that you could take it to a certain damage point. That's why they worded it the way they did. At that point, they realized that the boat was too strong for the game, for the PvE side. And that's when the nerf came in. So now when you die, it resets the drones to assault every time. Go ahead,
Jeff. So you're saying if you don't fully repair it, let's say it dies and you repair it to 25%, it's still at assault?
It's still at assault. That's when they changed it. That's how they changed it.
Okay. So the only way to get to these other layers is to not have it die, but to let it deteriorate in health until it reaches the next class defense, the next
Yeah.
defense.
And the damage, actually, you can't take. This is
You can't
hard to
take
word
the
so that it's
target.
understandable. You
Mm.
can't take physical damage to the KDs from any other source short of running out drones, unless you're in a target that will kill the drone, and then it will absolutely kill the KDs.
Okay. So you need to find a new way to basically reduce the health in some manner where it doesn't kill it. What happens if it gets reduced that way? Say you're taking moderate damage and you've got out of the assault range, and I forget what the next range is. Could you inform me?
I think it's siege, but I always get them backwards.
Okay. But let's say at that point, if you coin some health back up within the siege range, do you know if it's still...
It still comes out assault first.
Every time you put any repair to it, or you coin repair or whatnot?
Well, now think about it. Whenever you go back into a new target, it always resets to assault, no matter where your damage is. That's not the way that it was originally talked about, and that's not the way that it originally worked the first couple of weekends that I had it.
Okay.
At some point, it changed. And trust me, if it were that way, you could do subsectors all day long, because you could go in there and start off on the assault side, kill it all, kill however many you wanted, because you're not going to take damage as long as there are not multiple damage types in there. There's always a caveat. So you could kill as many of those as you want, fill them up, fill up your buddies, do whatever, then take the damage and move on over into go to the siege, take the damage in there to kill off the assault, and then do the same thing with the siege.
Okay, that's tricky. I haven't read have you sent a ticket in on this to see what they say?
I believe Templar did. I can't say honestly. I think somebody has, and they say that it's working as intended, which is their stock answer.
Yeah, that was me. It was me that sent the ticket when I first used it in the siege raid.
Yeah, Daniel, you and I were the ones that were working on that in the very beginning to try to figure out what was going to happen.
Yeah, because it was like super weird. It was supposed to change drones as its health deteriorates, but then every time you go to a different target, the drones reset.
Exactly.
It was, and then when they figured out that it was working as intended, and we dropped.
Well, it wasn't working as intended, but they said, "No, we like this," because I mean they changed something.
Well, did they change something, or did it ever work?
No, it did work. It physically worked. The first weekend that I had it, I went out, and trust me, I killed it a couple times just to see what was going to happen. And that was an expensive repair. But yeah, it did work as intended the first weekend I had it, first weekend or two. And then after that, it stopped because it was only releasing the assault drones.
Okay. I would file a ticket on that, and the more people that have the KDs, file a ticket on this and see what the responses are, because there's a lot of things they seem oblivious to as far as the mechanics in the game, and we assume they're intentional, but a lot of them I don't think are intentional. I think it's just through a lack of QA and a lack of testing that some of these things exist. And I think it would be helpful to your fellow Katie's owners if anybody files a ticket, you get an answer, and at least it's made now they're aware that there's an issue with the performance and the mechanic associated with the KDs relative to the way the blueprint reads. So I mean that's my thought on it.
Yeah, that's what I would do. But I mean, back to my original point, which had nothing to do with that. That nerf happened a long time ago. They're not going to do anything to block the KDs out of the A set this series. They're going to let the people that have coined out that KDs go ahead and play with it in the A set for the rest of the series, for all the raids in this series. And that's the point I was trying to make. Now, after this series, I think we're going to see, an issue where they're going to start blocking the KDs to where it's not going to perform so well in upcoming targets and for future raids. You know what I mean? But for this raid series, I don't believe they're going to do anything to change that. I believe they're going to continue to leave it to where it can do the A set for instant repair.
Mhm.
I haven't been around for a while, so I don't know if this will happen. But will they block it out of TLCs?
I would
They
assume,
did-
yeah, on
They did, but
TLCs,
the
I would
player
assume
base
so.
revolted. They
Well,
did, but the player base went.
Doctor, excuse me for a second. Would you please not talk over other people when they're trying to talk as well? I couldn't hear anything George said, and he had a valid point, I believe.
I think it was me that talked over him because I was starting a point. You got to realize there's a lag between everybody. So what may appear to be talking over somebody is two people starting a sentence at the same time, because we don't have like a raise your hand system going on. So I think it was actually me. I'm not sure that it was Dr. Death.
We got Google Hangouts. That's what we got.
Yeah.
I mean, all I was going to say was, going forward on the TLCs, I think yes, because you're seeing it blocked in the S targets. I think you'll see it blocked in the TLCs. As far as the map targets, I don't know that they would really want to try and do that. I mean, they may try and block it off of the top one. I don't know that you'll be able to use it in the direct bases. That's the one that I'd be more concerned about to see what they're going to do, because that has me very curious. But as far as TLCs, I don't think they can tune around the Cadies, which is why you don't see it in the S set.
Well, they did do something, George, as far as, remember the original thing, I think it was to get the Scorpion set, the missile set for the Manicore, where it was blocked originally, and they said that was an oversight, and it'd be allowed in future TLCs. So it seems like they've opened the door to allow it to be included in TLCs. Because you remember that?
Maybe for the Scorpion set, but I don't think if we see like a TLC going forward that's for something else, for like new equipment or something, or a new hull or whatever it is, I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't allowed. I mean, it's just you can, especially when you have Manticores behind it, you can fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an extremely powerful boat.
Yep.
If they made it to where it worked the way they originally talked about it, you could run over targets, you could prep anything and everything for everybody. So while I would like to see it operate the way it intended to, I don't believe it will. I agree with George. I think they're going to limit its use. And the easy way to limit it, and they know it, is to put multiple damage types. Because if you get something in there that will kill the drone and you happen to be close to a ship or a turret, it'll smash the Cadies, because it's a very, very, very weak hull when it comes to the wrong damage type.
Or if it's robot, I mean, I could see his sneaky ass putting clouds in certain key points where, you would have to drive through it, and the Cadies wouldn't take any damage, but the drones would. And if you had a regular fleet, you could drive through it. Like a little channel that you had to drive through that had clouds on either side.
Mm-hmm.
You'd screw the drones that are out there no matter what the hell they are.
Yeah. I mean, you could put a different damage type out there. You certainly could.
Yeah,
because
the clouds
I'm sorry, Jeff, go ahead.
The clouds make the most sense. It's so easy. The large radius of the drones and just killing them off immediately with clouds.
Yeah, the funny thing about it is, in the targets that we have now, you can drive through the clouds with the drones and they won't take any damage. Or very much.
Actually, it depends on the cloud, because I actually did test this, and there is one cloud in, is it the 85, 83, the one that's at the bottom, right at the bottom there?
Bottom left, 85, 83.
Is it the 83? Yeah, that one will fuck up your drones if you stay in there too long.
If you stay in there too long, you're right. But, most of the time I've become accustomed to driving around those. So, I mean, if I'm on auto doing the 85s, I don't even look at it, and it comes out with the minimum damage.
Yeah,
But on the doing the 85s for titanium, that's what I say, the regular targets. On the raid targets, I haven't seen them take that much damage. They could take some.
Or if you're stupid like me and try and do it purposefully, you find out real quick. You find out, you go, oops.
Yeah, you don't want to be in that cloud if you've expended all of your drones.
Yep.
Because it will kill your KDs.
Bad day. Very bad day.
Hey, you get off of my cloud.
Yeah, exactly. But now here we go again with another option. You can actually zombie this thing. You could put 2 coins worth of repair on it and run it all day long again. And then slow repair whenever.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say
I
it
didn't
too
know
loud.
that. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say don't say that too loud because then we're gonna find out if they want to do them like
They're gonna
freaking
make
subs.
subs out of 'em.
Yeah, which pissed me off. That still pisses me off.
Me too.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have a Katie's, and I don't even have any shards. So,
Dude, run your point
I
total
don't-
up. Win a free one.
but yeah, that's it. But
Hey,
I
Everybody,
think
get your wallet out. Buy a Katie's Day.
You need a couple of billion
they're
points
gonna-
at this point.
if they nerf the mega hulls or the mega ships or whatever you want to call them,
The capital.
the capital ships, yeah, who's gonna build another one?
Well, that's
They
the
gotta
problem.
they gotta be good for something. So, I mean, while like I said, I don't have it, but I don't think there's anything wrong if they worked in the TLCs and
Yeah,
you just
but
can't do mastery campaigns with it, or you can just not get to the highest level with it, or I don't know, but they gotta make that hull viable for something. Was who's gonna build the next capital ship?
And
Well,
that's
Go ahead, George.
I was just saying that's why I think they'll let you do it for like chore stuff, but I don't think you'll see it in the SSRBs. I don't think you'll see it in like I don't know about the TLCs. I guess it would depend on the TLC. That mastery, just blocking it from the mastery round might be a good idea. I don't know. I just know that to try and tune around that hull is a bitch.
Well, it makes me wonder if there will ever be another capital hull. In my opinion, they should make this one back to the way it works, give everybody an opportunity to win it, and let it work the way it was intended. That way, everybody can do what they need to do. You've got other damage types out there that you can't go into some targets because it only has 5 drones. And there's 6 damage types, not including the unblockable stuff in the 117s, the green boogers, what everybody's calling them, I guess.
I wonder if will those green boogers target the drones? I wonder. I'm gonna have to try that.
Well, I don't know.
Will they let you into the?
That was what I was going to say. Will they let us in?
Oh, maybe not. Shit, I didn't think of that.
I haven't tried. I don't. I'm not a fan of taking a lot of damage on that boat unless I have to.
Wonder why.
But it is the ultimate. Right now, at this point, it's probably the most used capital ship. It was the Ghost Crawler before that, and it was the Hellstar before that. I never really saw the Proto-Nim doing a ton, and almost everybody to a man besides Yanis got rid of the Man of War pretty quickly. Or
yeah, but I hear that's going to be the big thing for the next raid cycles.
It very well could be.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
So if you got one, don't get rid of it yet.
But the Man of War. So that's another thing that on my to-do list.
No, don't get the Man of War. I was just making sure that TSM wasn't watching the show. And
yeah, he's doing his own live stream.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's not listening to us.
Okay. Yeah, because he would, he might comment at that point.
Oh, he's a huge fan of the Man of War.
Yeah, he turned it into a billion pieces.
He's melted it down a couple of times, I think.
He sold it to OPEC.
So, George, I see you doing some experiments with the Darkwing.
I did. It's an interesting CIC. If you run just one, you kind of see a little bit of a change. 2 of them, you definitely see a change, and 3 of them, you max out, and that's where you'll see the most because the stacking effects of them. But I don't know. It's an interesting CIC, and if I was made of money, I have a couple of ideas for hybrid fleets that should work really well. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have time to even try building one of them.
Are you thinking about putting them on different boats?
Maybe.
We are in the same alliance. You could share this stuff occasionally.
Well,
we're supposed to be working together.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned that the other day too. I don't know. I mean, the thing is like I'm trying to figure out how to do the math on a couple of different things, and I just haven't had time to sit down and really go through it. I did some this morning real quick, and I went, "Ooh, that's going to look interesting on the SCADA fleet," because the auto hull, as an auto hull, it was not what you would call really. It's not what I'm used to for an auto hull.
Yeah.
And now it's a little bit closer. I'm probably tonight when they're done repairing, I'm probably going to run a GM crew and a demo squad combo again and see if that works, and see if I can't get that time down to something more acceptable. But right now, it's I'm kind of on the fence.
Have you ran a combo fleet? Scatter and missile both? And if so,
I don't have any missile ones done yet. That's why, and that's the combo I was thinking about for the raid, because looking at some of the numbers that I was doing this morning real quick, there's some interesting things that you can do for a combo fleet.
well, I've got the flag for each fleet, and I have 3 of each type of Manny, and I've got 1 CIC on the scatter, and I've got 2 of the CICs in the missile, and I can't get the combination the way I want it. So
You filthy coiner.
well, I like toys.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of something where when they stacked, if they were on auto, I mean, because that's really honestly where my mind's going, is somehow to do an auto hybrid fleet, and that would entail kind of changing some of the scatters so they would stay at a certain range.
Yeah.
And then one of them probably being a little bit shorter range to tank a lot of the other stuff. I mean, there's, like I said, I have a couple ideas for a couple of different fleets, but
yeah, but the way that it works, from what I understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that it adjusts the speed to the slowest boat, so it's going to be hard to get the ranges separate.
no, it'll adjust to the slowest hull, so everything will stack as they're driving. However, when you stop, if one
It'll
has a
stop by
longer
range,
range, right, it stops by range.
Right.
So
Because that's why my scatters were winding up dying way faster than they would if I drove them on auto, because I checked that out.
Right.
And what it would do is every time it would stop, the missiles were back, the scatters pull forward, the scatters get creamed.
Yeah. Well, I think part of the idea is that I'm going to be having one hull that's going to be a tank, and it's not going to have, it's going to have like one weapon that's, relevant to the target, but the other ones are going to be like massive on damage rather than resists and stuff. You know what I mean? I'm going to play with it a little bit and take a look at numbers, and, maybe by next raid I'll have something together.
Cool. Anybody else?
What were we talking about? I kind of lost track.
I don't know. I came in late. I don't know what the hell everyone was talking about.
We were talking about the Katie's.
How's it? Has anyone besides me like dumb enough to do auto on these things?
Auto on what?
The S targets.
Yeah, I tried it, but I can't. I don't have the patience to set them up the way that you have. I just get in there and try to auto and see what it's going to do. If it comes out with more damage, I say screw it and start driving them.
I've been autoing them, but I just do 2 sets and then I slow repair.
Padre has been autoing some, and he's worked it out pretty good. A couple other guys are working on patterns with driving, and they've got the damage times down, not low, but lower.
Yeah, I know EJ was for a while. Luckily the build that I'm using actually is the same as last month.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are just now figuring out that because a lot of people had the penetrative engine thingy, and they went to the corrosive one.
Well, I took that. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say it's just like a lot of the little things that it's been out there for. My build's been out there since last month, so I'm not sure why there are some people that have kind of, I don't know, like purposely went opposite or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to see that people are trying different things at least.
Well, one thing that I've seen, and I don't think I'm giving out anything proprietary, especially since we're talking about a raid. What's the attack system 4 or 5? I mean,
Stealth attack system?
no. It's here. Let me look. It's easier instead of fumbling around for words that I'm not going to pull out of the depths of my unused brain. If I can get it to load.
Cannon system?
No, it's not cannon. It's on the missile drones. Let me see. I've got it up finally. View fleets. That one. That one. Yeah, Strike System 5.
Strike 5. That's the new one for the mana cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some interesting times come out of that.
I think that's what Vengeful and Templar are running.
Yeah, I fitted onto mine last night, and when I did, I had to take 2 other specials. So I'm only running 4 specials, so I think that's where I'm taking a little bit of damage, but I don't know what else to put on there.
Another damage special.
Well, yeah, I mean, that would make sense, but I don't know which one you can load on.
The special that you put on the scattergun.
On the missiles?
Yeah, the missiles have corrosive damage too.
See, I'm not. Yep, they sure do. Okay. I didn't look down that far.
We're sneaky.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
But you're better putting narrow firing aperture as opposed to the missile one than putting the roaring barrel system, correct?
I'd have to look at the numbers. I was just thinking of that off the top of my head.
It's 79.5 versus like 60. If you have your narrow firing aperture up to R15, so it's a significant difference.
Yeah, but doesn't the other one give you the what do you call it? Projectile speed? I don't have the stuff in front of me. I'm just trying to remember stuff because I know one of the things is with the missile hulls, if you get your projectile speed up a little bit, it helps you kill the targets just a hair faster, so they don't get that extra salvo out at you.
Right. See, that's kind of what I was noticing last night with some of the scatters. Padre is killing them in one shot, boom, boom, boom. Mine take 1 and a part of the next shot, which, I mean, it's going to equate to 2, but it takes 2 to kill them. And there's a huge difference there. But the Strike System 5 does have 60% projectile speed.
Yeah. I know what I did notice and especially it's noticeable in the 100 more than the 102. And I'm having like a serious like annoyance with this is that if you watch your scatterguns fire, a lot of times they'll be staggered even if you've been driving around for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like a stagger of an entire salvo. It's like it's just weird. It's an odd, like, I have one on video somewhere that I wanted to send into CS because it actually fired part of one towards the first boat. That boat died, and then the rest of it went to a different boat. And I'm like, wait, that's not how it works. It's supposed to fire at the same time. What the hell? Yeah. So, yeah, it's definitely been interesting.
Okay. Before we go to the after show, is there any final points on the raid or moving forward as far as builds for VXP weekend that anybody has want to get across?
Did you guys talk about Rampage's report?
We talked about some of it. We did talk about the upcoming TLCs. We talked about what else did we talk about? We talked about I think most of it. I'm not sure if we missed anything. I mean, he seemed happier. That's to be honest. He seemed happier because normally, I normally say when he does Rampage's report, it looks like there's somebody on the other side of the camera with a gun pointed at him.
Oh,
and
he mentioned
what?
Go ahead. He mentioned that Robot was there.
Okay, well, maybe, Robot wasn't carrying a gun this time, but at times it looks like there's somebody pointing a gun at him. And, like, this is some sort of confessional thing and they're about to chop his head off or whatever. But this time he seemed much more comfortable talking about things, which I have no idea why, but it was more comfortable to watch at this point. But I'm not sure that we missed anything. Is there something that you wanted to bring up in particular?
No. I just didn't know if you'd talked about it or not. That was all.
Okay, yeah. We brought it up. There were some interesting points in there, but I'm not sure there's anything worth running over, a second time.
I was going to ask, is it worth dropping everything and go watching that thing?
If you,
I keep forgetting.
There's going to be some more. There's going to be some more mana core tokens available. And there's going to be a TLC we talked about that's going to involve siege halls, which is the first one that we've seen besides some of the silly ones, the real easy ones, or
Yeah.
No, he did say that something about hydros and bucks, and so.
Hydro bucks and Proto Centurions. Yeah.
Unless it's good for the rest of the group, I'll just watch it.
Okay. All right. Is everybody building their Proto Centurions, or what are they doing with their shipyard time between now and VXP weekend? Are they building more mana cores to build a second fleet if they think they need one? Or are they building the Proto Centurions, or they're using that as a free time to, build stuff, Conqueror Defender stuff they could be doing in the Conquest Yard? Or are they just refitting for this raid? Or does anybody have anything that they're doing that's interesting? Or
I'm actually.
Go
ahead.
Go ahead, George.
Maybe just quick. Go ahead, George.
Oh, I mean, I was just going to say I'm kind of not sure because I've started the blanks for the missile manticores, and now I'm kind of like, I don't know which one I want to do. Do I want to do the missile manticores, or do I want to build some of the proto-sense so I can just not worry about getting to cut down my chore time? But I don't know. Like I don't have a lot of room in my shipyard either. I mean, in my dock, so I'm kind of scratching my head at this point, and I hate it when I get to a point when it's like that.
Yeah, this is the sad point of locking the Conquest shipyard down the way they have. We haven't had anything PvP for a month and a half. People are still fitting some stuff in there, but can you imagine being able to work on a raid fleet and the Proto Centurion? I mean, I've got to get one more missile manny out, and then I can work on the Proto Centurions. I'm just saying it'd be nice to be able to do them both.
How many? Go ahead.
No, you go, George. Go.
I was just going to say, how many people? Because we're talking, top tier hull stuff, and we're essentially talking about spending shipyard time on a chore fleet. How many people are actually at a position where they actually have that? That they can do that, because I know a lot of people that are still trying to work on their Inferno Dragons, for crying out loud.
That's what I was going to bring up.
No, but you can't. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It would be nice to be able to use both yards. But you can't.
Yeah, but you can't. So then you have to prioritize, right? And then how many people given this rate are going to even get enough points to be able to get that proto, let alone put it in for VXP weekend to get how many out?
I don't think people are having. Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm in a different alliance. I haven't seen too many people screaming about points. It seems like they're there, and there are a ton of people out murking. So, you can look at however you need to. Surely there are enough out there for people to help. I'm going to help somebody. I'm going to help one of Venom's friends later on. So, yeah, there's a lot of people out helping.
Yeah. Well, I'm hurting myself because I made a decision not to spend any coins on this raid. And it's a mistake on my part. I know it. But it's going to be hard to get the things that I think I need to defend my base, number one, because I want to get those two turrets, and then have to make a decision whether that proto is going to be a must-have at some point down the road, and then work towards that. I think I'll get enough, but that's me.
What did I suggest to you last raid? Jump to a friend? You didn't jump to me.
You're right, I didn't, but I can tell you later why, but
It's okay. I just was saying, I mean, help is there. You just got to know where to get it.
yeah. And it's kind of a shame because, I don't know, I'm going to sound like a crybaby, but before they made this must take damage kind of scenario that they've been on, I've been way ahead of the game on the raids, topping leaderboards in my sector for a long time, and now it's like, shit, I don't know why I'm in 5th place, 6th place, something like that.
Well, before you were actually in the top 50 globally.
Yeah.
And
now it's
sector. This sector is now. I'm in your sector, and yeah, it's not hard to get.
Yeah, some key guys moved into my sector and kind of squashed me, but that's not the point. That's not the point I'm trying to make. You can see the sector is not very active, number one, right?
True, yeah.
Yeah, and it's always been that way for some odd reason.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But when you get in raids prior to the mandatory damage, when you get close to 1 billion points in each raid, and now you struggle just to get the must-have stuff, something wrong with me, or there's something wrong somewhere else, and there's something wrong with me because I'm shut my wallet.
No, you just gotta. I mean, I got a fair way on all the other raids because it never really cost anything. There was no money involved, as in spending on the actual raid. If there was a few coins, that was it.
I spent
where this raid here, I spent. Well, I think I spent about 70 coins now, and I got 160 million points, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind spending it. I think it's a good raid. It goes quick. You can do the targets quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too wacky, the coin versus damage. And yeah, I don't mind it. I'm happy to spend 100, 150, 200 coins on this raid to get the points I need, and I'm happy. If it keeps going like that, I'd be happy too.
I won't dispute that, but I was one that kind of spent up front to get to the position where the raid could be quote unquote free. So it was a pay me now or pay me later, and now it's pay me now and pay me later. And tell me I'm wrong, but that's the way it feels.
I didn't spend anything. I mean, last raid I had 2 manicores, and I didn't really do that well last raid.
Mm-hmm.
But this raid I got 2 more, and it's gone okay. So I've not spent ahead. I've not spent any coins.
Well, I used to always buy the offers where they had discount tokens, and every time they'd come up with 125 off or more, I'd buy it and use it. And I did it like all the time on purpose. So
I do that too,
ready.
but I do that for my base and my Conqueror fleets, because I didn't have any of them. So I spend all. I mean, I did spend money, but not on my raid fleet. I spent it all on my missile cruisers and onslaughts and high guard wardens and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I've not done it now in a couple, at least 2 months. At least 2 months, I haven't bought anything. Nothing. I don't know.
Hey, Brian,
Hey,
you're growing into those headphones.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah.
So, can I just machine gun stuff before I gotta leave for dinner?
Sure, go ahead.
We're flipping tables. Good. Let's go.
Yeah,
Do
no,
it.
this. So I had no faith in this raid, because the prizes are shit, and they put a 40 million bonus on anything that we would want, like actual tokens for useful hulls. There's no generic build tokens again because fuck us apparently. But now they insulted us by putting the 1-day token in the unlock store that we can't even refit the Darkwing CIC onto a hull with. This raid
they added a second one though. They did.
Did they?
Yeah.
Good, because they couldn't do basic math on build time. So for me, this raid's been completely just basically unplayable. I'm getting multiple instances of 5 to 10 seconds or more of lag in targets. At least it was yesterday. And I'm getting 3 hours of damage per 100 with missiles. And I'm getting 5 hours of damage per 100 with missiles. Like, that's how bad this is. And I want to say it's my connection, but I can play Overwatch just fine, which is a lot more complex than this shit game. So even all that, and I'm still getting points at a better point to repair ratio than I was last month. So that shows you just how much, shows you how bad last raid is and how mad this raid is. The prize, I can't believe this. Like, the new missile, the limited missiles and the limited scatters, like, they're awful. And the armors are complete garbage. Like, they should have been in the retro lab immediately. Otherwise, they're inherently worse until you buff them up. Like, what the fuck, guys? Come on. Like, this is game design 101. If something is difficult to obtain being limited and, sought after, then it should actually be good. And the missile one is terrible. The corrosive one, there's, like, some use for, but still just completely awful.
We had Dr. Death test out you tested out the missile one, right, Dr. Death?
I tested out the missile one. There's something really funky going on.
Yeah, he tested it out, and he was basically seeing status quo with RA3, unless things have changed.
Yeah, I took the RA3 off. I put the new missile one on, and I'm taking the exact same damage on that ship that I've been taking the whole raid.
Yeah.
Huh. So you think it's retroed and not telling us, because that's literally the only way that could be happening.
No, but the structure, the deflection is somehow working in some way.
If they want deflection to matter that much, they should have added it to the fucking flagship. 50 and 24, my ass. There's no way. Like, even so, I actually did a spreadsheet on this. At 25,000 damage with RA3 on your hull, as opposed to this, at 25,000 damage is when with 1,000 ship deflection. I have ship deflection 6. 25,000 damage is when you hit 0. At every point beyond that, the resistance that you gain from having all that extra percentage way outweighs the 100 deflection that you gain otherwise. The 2% difference is so much better at that high level. It just matters so much.
But see, I couldn't figure that out, Brian, because like I said, with the bonuses I got from the Night Wings, I was pushing 99% penetrating defense on the fleet, right? And then I took the RA3 off of 1 and put on the new special. That dropped me down to 95. And that should have been a major difference. I should have been taking massive amounts more damage. And instead, I'm running, to the number, I'm running the exact same damage that I was before I changed.
So either you're hitting minimum damage, let's say, or there's some weird sort of pen resist bypass that exists. Those are the only options I can think of for why that would happen.
Yeah, I can't make any sense out of it. It does not make sense, because I should have took more damage. The only reason I wasn't going to do it, but Hefe was asking if somebody would test it so we could see what was going on. So I tested it, and now I've hit probably 20 targets, and it's the same result. I mean, the ones that have the RA3 are taking the exact same amount of damage as the one that has the new armor special.
Huh.
And I cannot figure out what's going on. I don't know why the new armor special is working the same as the RA3. Unless there's something going on, or the stats on the blueprint are wrong, or
never. Heresy.
There's got to be something there.
Yeah, probably, but we don't see it, so we all think it's crap. And then we have to refit all the stuff on, like those missiles, by the way. The limited missiles, limited scatters that aren't even escalation so much as a choice. It's really weird, but they cost way too much. A lot of the stuff in this raid costs way too much when you think about it. I just don't understand. I think they didn't hit their May financial goals, and they're doubling down on this raid in the whales between all the points that you need and that Katie's giveaway.
Yeah. I sort of like it. I like that part of it, that they're unless the Katie's giveaway is giving it away to people that already own the Katie's, right?
Yeah, it's weird.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, but now there's a competition to do it. which I'm fine. It doesn't impact most of the player base, right?
Can we talk about the competition real quick?
Sure, if you have some knowledge of it, go ahead.
Well, the only thing that I'm wondering is, and somebody else made a post on it on one of the areas, is it's unfair to everybody but the guys in Epsilon, because they have the last shot. They don't have to do anything. They can back up. Everybody else is closed, and they could go blitz whatever targets they want to get exactly to where they need to be.
Yeah, I found that part amusing. Yes, I agree.
How could they make it fair?
It's a corner battle for people that already own this tech, so it doesn't.
Well,
really
I understand. Yeah, but how could they make it fair? Let's say it wasn't a corner battle. Since they start at different times and end at different times, it always gives the guy the advantage that's in the last world.
Yeah, it's sort of like baseball. It's sort of like baseball. The bottom of the ninth, right?
Well, they should just give it out to the top 2 players in each world.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, world-based would make a lot more sense. Yes, I agree with Dr. Death on that. That would even the playing field on the whole thing, because the person in Alpha that's got all these points, potentially could be number 1 at the whole time, and then just watch himself drain away to number 8 as the next 4 hours go by. Yeah, my
experience was with the ECM when they were giving it to the top 3,000, and I'm sitting there going, "Man, I'm close. I should be right in there." And wait, this guy over here in Epsilon's going to finish 2 hours after I do, so he can and one me at any point.
Yeah,
that's all he's got to do is and one.
Was there blitz back then?
No, there wasn't blitz, but he still had more time to do it.
No, he had the exact same amount of time as you, 96 hours.
No. Mine ended 2 hours before his did.
Yours started 2 hours before his did too.
Yeah, but it's still more important to have the time at the end to know exactly what you need to do than I could not overwhelm him from the beginning, because at some point he's going to have 2 hours more, not more. I guess that's 2 hours longer than what I have.
The advantage about knowing about exactly what you have to beat, yes. Everything about more time is wrong, but I can see that being an advantage for the
that's my whole point. He has the advantage of 2 hours.
To remedy that, all you need to do is hop to Epsilon before every raid.
You can't jump to yeah. As opposed to people jumping to Alpha, hoping there's going to be a glitch they can take advantage of.
Right.
Jump to Epsilon and have the last swing at whatever the prize is going to be.
Oh, yeah, no, I have thought of that, and if that were an issue, it would happen. My issue is the raid always ends when I'm at work, unless I take a day off, which I'm not going to do that for this game.
I mean, I think that's true of most people. They ended on a Monday, which is awkward.
We're at work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So do we have much else as far as the online show? We've been going close to 2 hours.
I don't know why they think this is sustainable. Like, we have to hit these for titanium, not the high-end targets, but I'm seeing reports of people doing A sets and still taking, with a good fleet, still taking 30, 40 minutes damage in raid time. Yep. This whole cycle is balanced incredibly poorly, and I don't get it.
Oh, but don't you remember, Brian, that they always say that when it comes out to the map, the damage is reduced?
Yeah, that's cute.
117.
No, they could say the damage is reduced, but they would then double the armor. So it's not, that's true to their word. Also, the video's doctored. So, they're really fucking bad at this. Like, designing and balancing the game is their job. And they're just really fucking bad. Oh my God. Like,
I don't think they're bad Brian, I think this was intentional. I think this is the way. This has been this way for a couple months now. The game has gone to this whole mandatory damage. They want each target to have a minimum cost requirement.
And the thing is,
and they don't want you to have any way to get it down to instant repair. They want you to take a minimum amount of damage in each target.
And I'm certainly okay with the minimum amount of damage up to a certain point. The problem is, and I could sympathize with people, but now that I'm working regular full-time hours, I can certainly see it. Like 3 hours a target, I hit one when I come home. I hit one when I'm up, and 2 when I'm ready to go to bed if my fleet can take it. So that's, 4 targets in a day. Usually that's 15 to 20 minutes of interaction. But what they'd want for all the high cost stuff they want you to build is so much more engagement, but they're already they're creating another limiting factor in that engagement and the repair time that you have to spend. Mm-hmm. And then it's 50 or 60 cents to repair a fleet and get it back out on the water for what? And with this new Protocent, the fleets that you buy aren't even an investment anymore. We just had the siege raid, and I know it's been beaten to death, but there's a new haul out already. It's June. The next raid cycle is half over. And now you've got something better than that. And in the Rampage reports, they're saying, that we'd be good to have this for TLCs, which is all but a threat if I think about it, in any context the Kicks has. They're going to add mines to TLC targets. They're going to have SSRB things in TLC targets. And if you don't have the Protocent, you're going to be way behind. And I love how the hull is 10 hours, but the weapons are 18, by the way. That to me is hilarious. Top of the line, Super Baller hull, half as much time as a single cannon. It just, there's no value for the investment. And everything's wonky and everything's wrong. It's artificial difficulty to the point of this isn't fun anymore. This isn't even a chore. This is walk in and tank a bunch of ranks to the face. Rakes. Like the garden. So I'm out of here for now. That's dinner. I'll see y'all tomorrow probably.
Have a good one.
Take care, Brian.
Later.
All those things you said, that's what I've been thinking.
Yep.
I actually do want to mention something because I'm seeing a lot of people that are trying the Darkwing CIC and having they're reporting worse damage. Y'all need to take a look at your builds first. And you also have to understand if you're taking a CIC off that gives you a certain amount of defense and you're replacing it with one that's giving you less of that resistance and you're just doing one, you're not going to see damage go down. You will see it go up because your resistance on that hull just went down. That's why you need to have at least 2 of them in there to make up for that. And then the 3 is the magic. That's your max out and it works well. The other thing is I see a lot of people using the combo armor special. These targets are penetrative biased. In other words, most of the damage in the targets, it's all dual damage stuff, but most of it falls on the pen side. So RA3 is the one that you wanted to choose. And because of that, that's why you use the corrosive resistors instead of the missile resistors. So because I've just gotten, I just popped onto Facebook and I got 6 freaking messages and everyone's saying that, they tried the Darkwing and it's all these people are complaining that they tried the Darkwing, they took more damage and this and that. And, you kind of have to think through what you're doing and not just start going, this thing sucks, it doesn't work, if you don't know how it's supposed to work. I'm just saying.
Well, George, I've always valued your wisdom. Do you have any idea what's going on with that new armor special?
No freaking idea.
Because with the defensive resistance, I should be taking a lot more damage.
I have no idea. I mean, I'd have to sit and again test it. I can't anymore. I mean, I just don't have the, I mean, I'll probably, during the weekend at some point, I have a couple of friends that might be able to help me test some things and I'll take a look at it. I just don't know why you would see that, you know what I mean? And you rotated the hull through the fleet and everything, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's weird. I have no idea.
Yep, I put it. It's on a regular mana core, so I put it in 4 different slots. You know what I mean? Trying that out, and it's not on a Darkwing one; it's on a standard one, and it just the damage is always staying the exact same. It's not changing. It's matching the rest of the ships.
If I had to bet anything, if I were a betting man, and I had to bet, especially something that I don't mind losing, I would say that it's in the retro lab, and they just didn't put the damn line in there. That'd be my guess. Because for it to perform the same as RA3, you know, I mean, I could see it's a de minimis amount of deflection, right? So it's not that. I mean, you'd think that it would, if it was retro, though, you'd do a little bit better. But you're saying it's the exact same, right?
Yeah, the exact same. I've seen absolutely no change.
There's not like even like a 3-minute difference or anything?
No.
Yeah.
I'm running the exact same numbers over and over and over again.
I don't know. I mean, that's weird.
I mean, I'm down to within 10 points of damage between the ship. Which, you know, that's just seconds of repair time.
Okay. I think we talked this through. It's been a couple of hours. Parting words is put 2 sprints on one of your ships along with Countermeasure Loaders 4. And if you have the ability, put up to 3, or it's a max of 3. Even if you have, at least on the scatters, put the Dark Ring on. You'll see a marked improvement in your performance. Any other parting raid words?
I don't know. I missed the sprint one. Did someone actually test it again?
Yeah, I did.
And is it shooting?
The problem with the sprints is you can shoot down 100% of the executioners, but it's not firing at anything else.
Yeah, but if you put the countermeasure loader, you're getting the range out there. I mean, Mike, I had them built that way, and then Mike had them built with. You didn't have any sprints. You had phalanxes and switchblades.
I had a couple of sprints. I just didn't have the right number.
The countermeasure loaders. It wasn't doing anything without countermeasure loaders 4 on it.
Exactly.
So here's the question, because I know one of the tests that I saw, and I wish I had the damn video still, was someone had sprints on one hull and phalanx on the other. Mm-hmm. And then if the phalanx hull came close enough where the outside edge of their CM range covered the sprint hull, it prevented the sprints from firing, even though the sprints had the longer range and should have had a shot at the incoming missile before anything else. Is that still working, or was that part fixed?
I think it is, George, because when I started the raid, I had 2 phalanxes on one ship, and I had 4 sprints throughout the rest of the fleet. And with the 2 phalanxes on the one ship, I was only shooting down about 50% of the executioners, but I was shooting down a couple of the missiles from the small ships.
But were the sprints firing?
No, the sprints were not firing. And when I took the 2 phalanxes off, I stopped shooting any of the small ship missiles, even on the regular Kodiaks that didn't work prototype, right? The regular, interceptors and those ships. I wasn't shooting at anything on them, but I was shooting down 100% of the executioners off the turret ships.
Just out of curiosity, has anybody, because of that, because obviously the phalanxes are preventing the sprints from firing, right? Has anybody tried putting...
It's not true, though. I mean, I have phalanxes and sprints on mine. And I'm shooting down, on the 80s, I'm shooting down 100% of the executioners.
Mm-hmm. I am now, too.
Yeah.
I got a mixed on one ship, but across the fleet.
I have phalanx and a sprint, because I wanted to test the sprint thing, and the sprint does not fire at all, ever. I mean, ever.
Yeah, that's the result I got. It's the beginning of the raid.
The question that I have is anybody that's got the sprints on, I wonder if, because I'm sure that once the phalanxes are out of salvos, the sprint would fire. I have enough phalanxes that's not going to happen. I'm wondering if the same thing happens if you use a switchblade instead.
Well, now a switchblade is a countermeasure. Yeah,
the switchblade is an anti-missile.
Right.
Yes. So the phalanx and the switchblade are anti-missile. The sprint is a countermeasure. So we, get that straightened out. Go ahead.
I mean, I just want to know if anybody tried the same experiment with.
I'm running them stacked. I have phalanxes, and I have sprints. I'm not running into that same issue, but I think it's because I'm running them stacked. I think he was running the range over because the sprint is going to have a longer range than the phalanx. So yep. I seen that video. I think what he was doing, he was crossing over that line because I saw the way he brought it across from left to right. And so therefore the phalanxes might have come into range at that point and maybe tagged everything.
No, because the hull that was the hull that had the sprints on it was in the middle. So picture 3 hulls. You have
the video I saw had 2.
But there was
it was 2. Well, maybe
an enemy hull.
Go ahead.
There was an enemy hull, there was the sprint hull, and then there was the phalanx hull. The sprint hull was in between the other 2. So when the sprint was out of range, like when the CM coverage was not covering the sprint hull, the sprint was firing and shooting down every single one of the missiles. It never missed. The minute that the countermeasure range of the phalanx covered the sprint ship, so it's still way the hell away from the enemy ship. But the minute the coverage ring covered that sprint ship, the sprint stopped firing.
Yeah, I saw that video. What I'm trying to say is the big difference is to ensure that you have the countermeasure loader 4 on your sprint ship. Otherwise, it doesn't appear to do anything. It will not fire.
True. I was going to say it didn't work for me until I put the countermeasure 4 on it. Countermeasure loaders.
Yeah, it's extending the range. And so,
right, but that shouldn't matter because the sprint's still way the hell.
Didn't matter, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, the sprint still had way more range towards the end to the enemy than the phalanx did. The phalanx just could barely reach to that hull.
Yeah, but I'm just saying what my experience is. I'm not going to defend what's working correctly or incorrectly. But what I'm saying is, if I run them stacked, I have phalanx 4s, and I have sprints. I can run them stacked. And against the executioners that are on the floating bases, on the 80s, just 2 of them will shoot down everything. With just 2 of them. In the 100s, some of them are getting through. I don't know if I need a 3rd one or there's something else, another mechanic going on, because I'm not going to refit that again.
I'm wondering
well, the testing was done in the 100. So if you're seeing ones getting by in the 100, then I question whether or not the sprint's firing, because my phalanxes are doing better.
It takes out a bunch of them, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, my phalanxes are doing much better this raid than last raid and taking those out. I shoot down probably 80% of the stuff. But my sprint does not fire.
Does the sprint have the countermeasure loader 4 with something that extends the range beyond?
It's got frontline countermeasure.
Okay, does that have enough range extension to get it past? I'm not sure what your setup is.
The base range of the sprint's longer than the Phalanx 4.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if there was some difference in there where there was an overlap. But yeah, I'm not having that issue with countermeasure loader 4.
Well, if you have just sprints in the 100, you're going to shoot down every single one of those missiles from the turret missiles. So
how many sprints do you need? What I'm saying, in the 80s, I have 2 of them. I have 2 sprints. In the 80s, it shoots them all down. With countermeasure loader 4. If you don't have countermeasure loader 4, it doesn't appear to shoot down any of them. So,
well, now I know
that was my experience.
I've got 4 in my fleet. I've got 4 sprints in my fleet. And I can sit, you know how in the 102, the first ship goes up and turns catty corner and the second ship comes up behind it? You know what I'm talking about? Well, I can sit right there in between both those ships being fired at by all of their executioners, and I still shoot down every single missile.
Yeah, so I'm not certain if things have changed since last time, or I'm not sure what's going on. You know, they've made up their own rule. Oh, go ahead.
When I had that phalanx in there, though, I wasn't shooting down. I was only shooting down about 50%. So I don't know what's screwy with the mechanics, but there's definitely something screwy with the countermeasure mechanics.
Yeah, there's something wrong. There's something wrong with the mechanics.
Dr. Death and I have had very similar experiences, because I see the same things that he's been seeing.
I've got 1 phalanx on 2 ships, so I got 2 phalanx 4s, and I got 2 sprints on 2 ships, so I got 2 sprints all up. And I seem to be in the 102s. I'll take out 3 of the 4. And in the 100s, 4 out of the 5 times, or 3 out of the 5 times, I'll take out all the executioner missiles. And I'll also shoot at some of the missiles that come from the rockets, missiles, that come from the cardiacs and frostbites and whatnot. But I can't shoot all of them down, and I'll still get hit by those ice fields. And I do not run countermeasure loaders on any of my ships.
Speaking of the ice fields, have you noticed? Has anybody noticed whether they do damage or the duration? And if the duration changes if you're using 2 of the new CICs with 1 of the Scorpions?
They don't do damage. I know they're just slow down fields. I don't know that I actually looked at duration though.
Because it seems like to me, the reason why I asked that question, it seems like to me, with the CIC on there and 2 of the CICs and 1 of the Scorpion fields, that the ice patches disappear rather quickly.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Another one of those rumisms.
Interesting. Did in Rampage reports, did they say that they were going to pull the 3 fixes from next week's update?
No, they said they would push them forward to next week's update because they're not supposed to happen for the week afterwards. They're talking about pushing them forward.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, because originally it was supposed to be additional week, but they're talking about pushing them 1 week earlier if it gets by QA.
And the way that I had heard was they were progressing on it well enough that they thought that there was a possibility they could. But they would keep playing with it, and if there was a problem, that they would go ahead and push it back to the original timeline.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see how all that stuff works before Bounty.
Well, he mentioned that in the report that was one of the reasons why they were trying to get it out earlier, was so that we would know what's going to happen before Bounty instead of it being sprung on us.
Yeah.
Hey, I missed Wednesday's show. You guys might have already talked about this. But where they changed that when you're refitting a ship, it doesn't tell you what ship you're refitting anymore. It just says refitting Conquest Yard or refitting Shipyard. You guys notice that?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
it's been like that the last couple of days, and it's just dumb. Like, I like to click over there real quick and just see, okay, my PvE ship's coming out this amount of time, and I know which PvE ship I'm building because a lot of times I'm doing it in a hurry, and I'm like, what the heck am I refitting again? And now you have to like click and go in there and look, and it's just a minor annoyance, but I don't know why they would change that. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
If you click on a Conquest Yard or on the shipyard, it still tells you what's building in it. It's I
understand. That's why I said it's a totally minor thing, but like, why do they have to change it? You just have to mouse over it, and it would say you're refitting your dragon or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
it doesn't.
now
It does.
Yeah, now it just says refitting conquest yard.
Yeah, on the right hand side on that little pop up
Yeah.
box. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, that's first world problems, whatever. But it's just why change that? Because I'm not refitting my conquest yard. I'm refitting a certain ship in my conquest yard. Anyway.
Alrighty. I think it's my 10th request to end the show, unless anybody has anything else. We have anything more?
Put a fork in her. She's down.
Well, yeah, that's one way to put it.
Fork it.
Yeah. Alrighty. So I posted the link on the right hand side in case anybody'd like to join the after show. And see y'all on Wednesday. Hope you have a good raid, and hopefully you learn something. Tell your Alliance members.
Help!
Yeah, and it was Veronica Zemanola, the one that I had to delete so many comments on YouTube about.
Why don't you put her picture up again? Because I didn't get to see her.
Yeah, well, you can watch the show, but yeah.
Google.
Yeah, Google Veronica. It's a not safe for work. I had to find one of the pictures that was safe for the show.
Oh,
Normally,
really?
yeah, there we go. So, alrighty. So, ladies and gentlemen, see you all on Wednesday, and hope you have a great raid. And talk to you later. Bye, people.
Good night, everybody.
See you, pirates.